Log on to HRTV.com for more information. This is HRTV Rewind, taking a look back at the racing week.
And now Eddie Delahousse asking more run from AP Indy, and the response is immediate. AP Indy headlong into the final, prolonged by 5.
In the last 20 years, the Peter Pan has been used as a springboard to success in the Belmont Stakes.
It's going to be Colonial Affair winning it by 2 lengths. Here's the finish. It's going to be tight. Lemon Drop Kid, I believe, held on to win it.
Among the 2011 Peter Pan hopefuls, the impressive winner of the Grade 2 Jerome.
Audio's Charlie kicks away in the final 100 yards.
Todd Pletcher, who has taken 2 of the last 6 runnings of the Peter Pan, will try for another graded victory with his Illinois Derby winner.
But Jovan Florengeru, the win, the 2011 Illinois Derby at Hawthorne.
The untested yet talented Uncle Brent takes a giant leap into graded company.
It's Uncle Brent who has drawn clear, and Uncle Brent will win the Northern Spur.
Who will take running in this 57th running of the Peter Pan? Find out next. He was destined for greatness, and AP Indy delivered, both on the racetrack and in the breeding shed. His royal bloodlines featured Seattle Slew and Secretariat. He was co-bred by one of the industry's savviest horsemen, William Farish III of Lane's End Farm. Not surprisingly, given his fancy pedigree, AP Indy commanded an extraordinary price as a yearling. The top-priced yearling of 1990, he was acquired by Japanese developer Tomonori Tsuramaki out of the Keeneland July sale. Trained by future Hall of Famer Neil Drysdale and ridden throughout his career by another future Hall of Fame member Eddie Delahousse, AP Indy won 3 of 4 starts as a juvenile. To punctuate his 2-year-old campaign, he captured the Grade 1 Hollywood Futurity. As a 3-year-old, the Colts' victories in the San Rafael and Santa Anita Derby stamped him as one of the favorites for the 118th Kentucky Derby. But the morning of the race, a dejected Drysdale announced that his first Derby hope would be scratched due to a hoof injury that caused him to go lame the day before. 22 days later, a healthy and sound AP Indy was in the winner's circle, easily winning the Peter Pan Stakes, a prep for the Belmont Stakes.
AP Indy with a hand in front. AP Indy wins in 3 parts of a length.
He won the demanding Belmont and then would visit the winner's circle one more time in the Breeders' Cup Classic, an effort that sealed his Horse of the Year championship and marked the conclusion of his illustrious career. Ferris, who purchased a percentage of AP Indy, along with the Colt's co-breeder William Kilroy, after the Belmont Stakes, stood the colt at his renowned Lane's End Farm in Versailles, Kentucky. If possible, his work in the breeding shed arguably surpassed his brilliance on the racetrack. A 2-time Stallion of the Year, AP Indy's many successes at stud included Horse of the Year and winners of Triple Crown races. Pensioned from stud duties in 2011, AP Indy's impact on the breeding industry will resonate for years to come.
Stanley, I'm curious about the 1-turn mile and an eighth. Had this been a 2-turn mile and an eighth, would you given it as strong a consideration?
Probably not, but I think the 1-turn, it'll answer some questions, but it'll also, we could find certain things out later on.
The horse has only gone a mile, obviously a test today going a mile and an eighth, but is this a horse that you think, based on how he trains, that he should be able to get a mile and a half?
I wouldn't actually think so. He's kind of a horse that you know, you really have to ask him. I mean, by nature, he's very relaxed on the racetrack. Very good feeling horse, but he's not one of those that by training that you would just, you know, be pointing for a mile and a half. So I wouldn't necessarily think so. And I think it would be a long shot that we, no matter what happened today, that we would run back into Belmont. But that's, you know, I certainly wouldn't rule anything out.
It's a great race, the Peter Pan. A lot of history. A lot of horses use it as a stepping stone to the Belmont, although that's kind of not been the case recently, although I think there may be a horse in there that might be using it as a prep for the Belmont.
And who might that be, Richard?
I think Monzon. Monzon has the look of a horse to me that is pointing to the Belmont.
What is it we can expect to see from maybe contenders moving on to a mile and a half? What do you want to see from a horse going a mile and an eighth? Is it the gallop out? What are we looking for?
Well, I think you want to see a horse that's still finishing with his legs underneath him a bit. I don't think you want to see a horse that shows too much speed and then kind of gets weak, even if they're hanging on. You want to see a horse that shows that kind of stamina influence.
They're in the gate. And they're off. A good start for Bold Deed and Adios Charlie right there with him on the outside. Alternation continues. A steady advance toward the lead on the far outside. Then in behind those, it's Prime Cutters now fifth with a furlong to go. Adios Charlie comes away with the lead. Alternation continues to peck away at him. Down to the final 16th. Can Adios Charlie hold off Alternation? Alternation surges. Adios Charlie. They hit the wire together, and the photo will go to Alternation. Alternation running a powerful race here to narrowly defeat Adios Charlie. Top of the stretch, Trap Shot to Funny Bone head-to-head for the lead. They're joined by Rule by Night on the outside. These three headlong into the final furlong. To Funny Bone digs down. Trap Shot now. Trap Shot's got a short lead to Funny Bone. And Rule by Night third on the wire. Trap Shot. 1 furlong to go. The rail opens up for Arch Traveler, who comes charging on through to take the lead. A few anxious moments there for Arch Traveler, but boy, he finished beautifully. Zif Saf is in between horses, and as they come down to the final 16th, Rajiv Mirage finally says, go with Right One. And they are on their way. Right One. Final 16th, Much Rejoicing now in front. Strike the Bell with the final try. Sea Road now third. Much Rejoicing, the winner by a length. Strike the Bell second. Sea Road third. 4 of them hit the 8th pole together. Inherit the Gold on the outside. Drosselmeyer, Bird Run, and Almadoro. 4 of them hit the 16th pole together. Drosselmeyer's got a short lead. Bird Run right back at him. Here's the wire. Drosselmeyer, a victor once again at Belmont Park.
When HRTV Rewind returns.
This time we had a solid list of 7 before the Derby, and none of them were scared away.
Let's do a bullet drill real quick. Give the fans something to look forward to here as I give you 3 questions. First, did we see a Triple Crown threat cross the wire first in the Kentucky Derby?
Can I waffle on this, or do you want a yes or no?
You're on the fence? What do you want to fence
I would say no, because it hasn't happened in 33 years. I got precedent of myself.
When Big Brown didn't win the bell, I'm like, it's never
with Smarty Jones. Maybe this colt will be different.
New Shooter or Derby also ran the best chance for an upset in the Preakness.
I'm going to go with New Shooter on that one. I think a New Shooter, yeah. I think I'm going to go with a New Shooter.
The nice segue to my third question. Then the best non-Derby starter or New Shooter is named?
Astrology.
Really?
I don't know if he's good enough, but I love the pattern. He's coming up to the race. He's got 2 races now. He ran very well in the Jerome. He didn't have a good trip. He's worked great since.
You a Jetsons fan?
No.
Cogswell's Cogs? No?
The crazy thing is, you know, leading into the Derby, you know, there's often, you know, we hear of a handful of you know, potential new shooters. But this time we had a solid list of 7 before the Derby, and none of them were scared away. You know, from Astrology to King Kanji to Flashpoint, Mr. Common, Sway Away, Norman, and Dance City. We thought all of those horses, or the connections, had mentioned Preakness, thought that was something they wanted to do, and Animal Kingdom did not scare them away despite that terrific performance by Grand Motion's horse.
Mike, are you guys getting together a kitty with all those ticket sales to perhaps pay off the $5.5 million bonus for Dialed In?
And I mean, that's terrific. And then, the funny thing is Dale Romans didn't even realize he was eligible for the consolation. So if he wins, the horse wins $600,000 plus a $550,000 consolation bonus for participating in the Fountain of Youth and then finishing in the money in the Florida Derby.
Well, I'm working him in company, and I've been working in company with a very fast horse, or not fast, but a very talented horse in Pleasant Print. We'll discuss the tactics of whether we're going to go to the front or come from behind after the race is drawn, and how the race shapes up, on race day.
I'm just going to take it easy with him. I mean, he's dead fit, and he's doing good, and he's feeling good. He's out there bucking this morning when he's in his gallop, and we're just going to take it easy with him until the Preakness.
I'm always going to defend my horse. I mean, I can't see they'll go 3/4 13. I mean, I just don't understand that at all. 1947 was the last time they went that slow, and he came home extremely fast. They sent me a note from Baltimore how fast he came home, and basically, that was pretty good.
We're going to start with King Kanji's dirt form. Less than impressive. But did his Belmont work a few days ago give you any indication that he can handle conventional dirt?
Well, his last work was actually probably one of his best works I've seen. Usually he's not a great workhorse, but the other day he worked really well. 101, galloped out in 13 and change. So I was really pleased with the work the other day.
And then we move ahead to the Derby winner and Animal Kingdom. Your thoughts on any potential vulnerability, specifically when it comes to race spacing? What do you think about the short rest, 14 days in between races?
Well, that's certainly the big question. I think he stamped himself as the new leader of the division. His Derby was impressive, was not a fluke. I think the 2 weeks is the big question, in spite of the fact that he's a lightly raced animal. He's a horse that came into the Derby fresh. But no matter what, he ran a hard mile and a quarter, and he's never been cut back in 2 weeks to run again. If he can handle that, he is the best horse. We should see a horse coming to Belmont with a chance at the Triple Crown.
I got to be honest. I mean, probably the only time I do this is at Keeneland, where you're very compressed into a 3-week meet, and I'll often run a horse back twice at the meet, in which case I'll have to run in 10 days or 2 weeks. And I think we've had some success with it, but it would pale in comparison to what we're trying to do with this horse. I just think it's a matter of how much the Derby took out of him. He's just run the biggest race of his life in the Kentucky Derby, and now we've got to get him back there in less than 10 days now. So. So far from what I've seen of the horse is absolutely fine. I'm impressed with how he's handled everything. His weight is good. He's eating good. He's moving well. I couldn't be happy with how he looks right now, to be honest.
Regal Parade under the running rail. Delegator flashing home. Hitchens is late on the scene. Regal Parade went into a narrow lead. Tiddlywinks, Hitchens, Delegator to the near side, all thrusting at Regal Parade. Delegator poking his nose in front. Regal Parade rallies. Delegator just. Inside their furlong they come. Joviality by a whisker. Barefoot Lady battling back very bravely under the Hannigan drive. Joviality being reeled back by Barefoot Lady. Barefoot Lady poking her nose in front. Joviality back for more. Nothing in it. Inside their furlong they come. Seville battling back. Carlton House into a narrow lead from Seville. They've drawn away. Carlton House asserting close home. The dream of a Royal Derby winner alive as Carlton House wins the Dante. The final furlong they come. Midday now draws alongside Satcher. They've kicked away from Timepiece. Midday and Satcher trading blows. Midday into the lead, and now Satcher faces High Noon, and Midday gives them weight and gives them a thrashing, and she wins the Middleton. Duncan down towards the last furlong, chased hard by Managar, then Blue Bajan, Native Ruler back in fourth, Duncan in front, still Managar and Blue Bajan chasing. Native Ruler finally gets the split, begins to surge home Duncan. Blue Bajan is reeling him back, the line is looming. Duncan lasts home and wins the Yorkshire Cup.
The Italian Raider, hard to pass. Worthad and Canford Cliffs. Richard Hughes forced to go for his stick. Canford Cliffs goes half a length clear from Worthad and now extends, and Canford Cliffs, in a division littered with stars, makes a triumphant return.
Apapane strikes the lead from Lady Albarosa. Apapane and Buena Vista. Lady Albarosa. Apapane in front. Apapane stretching out. Buena Vista, will it get there? Apapane in front. Lady Albarosa. Apapane hits the line. Apapane from Buena Vista. Lady Albarosa.
When HRTV Rewind returns.
Anybody that you that's really helped you along the way, or you would give some extra credit to?
He was always positive, and he was always willing to take off his shirt off his back to, you know, help anybody.
In second, then Real Trick in third. The rest are left behind, and they're running to the top of the stretch, and the pulse is racing now for Luis Quinones. He's opening up here on Hit It Hard by 4, by 5, by 6, and Luis Quinones on Hit It Hard has knocked it out of Lone Star Park. It's career win number 3,000 on Hit It Hard.
Anybody that you that's really helped you along the way, or you would give some extra credit to?
My agent that he passed away like a year and a half ago, Jerry DeLaura. He had him for like 19 years, you know, and then too bad that he's not with us, you know, otherwise he would have been very proud for me to accomplish this, you know, in 3,000. But he's the one that helped me along and pushed me all the way, and just believed in me, and I'm very thankful for that.
This year's Hall of Fame class is Jerry Hollendorfer, Open Mind, Safely Kept, and Sky Beauty. They were voted in by the panel of voters, 183 voters from across the country. The ceremony will be August 12th at the Fasig-Tipton Pavilion in Saratoga.
I feel very blessed and fortunate to have even been nominated, so it's, you know, I'm very, very pleased that everybody voted to put me in, so thanks to everyone that voted for me.
Jerry, you're such a busy man. You've conditioned horses in Northern California, Southern California now, and of course racing horses all around the country at this point in your career. Did you ever sort of lay awake at night and think about the Hall of Fame? Is this something that was in your consciousness?
No, I don't think that that very many people do that. You know, it's just something that can happen to you if you get very fortunate and happen to be lucky enough to have the owners and the people working for you that can get you there.
Here comes Beso Grande. Beso Grande through to the inside of White Merlot at the 16th pole. White Merlot, Beso Grande fighting down to the line in the French Village. Beso Grande. Beso Grande won it. Maniceto now catching Dual Exhaust. Dual Exhaust laboring Maniceto, forging toward the lead. Maniceto from Dual Exhaust. Maniceto. Little Nick outclassing him thus far. Opens up to lead it by 4. Uno Caliente moves into second. Sir Edgar back to third. But no problems today for Little Nick, and he wires him in the Champ Ali.
On Tuesday, the racing world was shocked and left with an overwhelming sense of anguish due to the news of the untimely death of jockey Michael Bays, just 24 years old. We here at HRTV felt this tragedy both personally and professionally, and we now dedicate the remainder of this show to the life and memory of Michael Bays.
I was absolutely dumbfounded when I read it last night. I mean, just kind of sat there for a while, and just so shocking and so sad to think just a year ago he took his tack to Arlington and did the unthinkable. He led the meet. He was 4th in the standings at Oaklawn and trying to make another fresh start at Churchill. Very sad.
It's so sad. And Hall of Fame jockey Gary Stevens, retired jockey, who's of course a member of our team here at HRTV, joins us right now, and he was very close to the Bays family. Gary, I'm so sorry about this news. When you think of Michael, what comes to mind?
Just a peaceful soul that
likable guy, quiet guy, and just untapped resources. Great rider. He looked as pretty on a horse as anybody I've ever witnessed on a horse. He could finish on a horse. He had a lot of finesse, but just Mike himself, one of those guys, when he walked in a room, everybody liked him. I never heard him say a bad word about anybody, and I never heard a bad word said about him. I was at Churchill Downs this morning, just needed to get out of the house, and was down hanging out with Michael McCarthy, Todd Pletcher's assistant, went up on the clocker stand by myself, and we actually one of the viewing stands, and there were people up there that, you know, didn't know my relationship with him, and they were just saying what a shame it was, what a loss. Everybody was just very solemn at Churchill this morning.
We wanted to let you know, we hadn't seen Michael much. He'd only been here last fall. We knew what he had done in his great time on the West Coast, but we wanted to bring forward one of his friends to share a little bit about what kind of person young Michael Bays was. And Peter Artieda is a jockey. Peter, where are you? Here you are. And a good friend of Michael Bays. In fact, he was best man at Michael's wedding. And Peter, you as well as anyone, I know it's difficult to do, but everyone I've ever talked to about Michael is, and I just saw him maybe once or twice, and he was always big with a smile. And but everyone I've ever talked to said he was, you know, a quiet person, but one of the just great people you ever want to meet.
Yeah, he was really an approachable person and everything, and he was always positive, and he was always willing to take off his shirt off his back to, you know, help anybody. If you ever needed anything, all you had to do was ask, you know, and he just made the competitiveness of the business kind of more laid back and fun, you know, and he was a good friend to have, and a very talented rider, and I knew he loved riding, and, you know, he loved his friends and family very well.
Thank you, Steve Buttleman. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Bays visited the winner's circle nearly 1,000 times in his career, more than 50 in stakes races. Let's give him a big hand. One more hand for Michael Bays. Thank you.
Michael Bays will win his first in his career. Out on the sly in front.
That's all for Rewind this week. Here's a look at what's coming up next week on HRTV.
As you could hear the voice of Peter Lurie, quite a history there, dating back to AP Indy and many others. So let's take a closer look at the field. And Pete, could you give us the voice?
In the field that is the Peter Pan.